And we've been kind of theory crafting this list for a little while, and I finally sat down to build it. And I think it looks pretty good. Seeing in the chat, I do kind of vaguely remember seeing Respect the Cat playing an Eldritch Evolution Elesh list. I kind of want to take a look at what Respect the Cat's list looks like. I know that they play a ton of 4-color decks, but I'm still very much in my, I'm just like brewing in the trenches with new cards. But of course, everybody's doing that, so there's a lot of parallel thinking. I think this is from February 23rd. This one's from a bit more recent.
Welcome everybody to a new
Shout out to
video.
Respect the Cat. So, it's playing. Yes, only 2 Ephemerates to me. It's kind of like deranged. I don't know. Deranged is not a good word, but looks to be pretty different. Looks to be pretty different overall. Let's talk about what we got going on over here. So the big idea is Elesh Norn, very, very powerful card, but also a card that you really want to be able to put into play early, or earlier than turn 5 if possible. And so in this deck, Eldritch Evolution helps you do that. Just Evolution to 3-drop into your Elesh Norn. And sometimes you can even set up for like turn 3 Evolution into Elesh Norn with like Leyline Binding or Solitude plus Ephemerate up if you're really, really lucky. Additionally, you have access to a kind of nut draw here, where you can go Solitude plus Ephemerate, and then have a 5-mana creature in play, and then you could Eldritch Evolution that Solitude into an Atraxa. You're not doing amazing on card types for Atraxa, but you have like 5 sorceries, 4 enchantment, 4 instant, 5 planeswalkers, lands, and then creatures. So it's gonna be a good value for you. And you are also an Omnath deck in theory. You can cast this in the late game. I will basically never register Atraxa where like I'm really just trying to hardcast it, but in this deck, being able to Evolution and early Solitude into it, I think that is pretty interesting. You also can Teferi plus and then go Solitude Evolution into Atraxa as well. I think that that's kind of interesting. And then beyond that, you are, you basically have the plan to either put one of your walls into an Omnath in turn 3, or maybe more often turn 4 into Omnath plus fetch land, or you can go 3-drop into Elesh Norn, or you can go 5-drop into Atraxa. This is like your big powerful stuff. But then after you get the cards running, you're gonna find more Eldritch Evolutions, which are gonna either find you like Avalanche Riders to like control the board. You can do Eternal Witness Ephemerate loops to really control the game. Double up Mulldrifter triggers, draw 4 cards. You know, a lot of options. I'm making a Knight of Autumn here. Not too crazy overall. In the sideboard, I think that we are kind of lacking interaction against a lot of the linear decks in the format. However, I do actually think that Elesh Norn in the main deck makes you like a lot better against Titan, which is one of the main premier linear decks in the format. We have a lot of removal against like Yawgmoth and Hammer Time. So I think that while we have some weaknesses, we also have a lot of plans against the more top linear focused decks. There's not a ton of spell-based combo at the moment. That being said, I do have the full playset of Meddling Mages on the board. Still respecting Mill a lot. We have Emrakul and Endurance, although Endurance is more so a sideboard card for the Murktide matchup than it is a sideboard card for Mill. I've been liking the first Needle a lot in these kind of decks, mostly for Yawgmoth here, but it has a few other spots that can come in. The first Chalice for Cascade. Night of Autumn mostly for Hammer Time, but also Burn. And then, these Prismatic Endings are like combination Hammer Time sideboard hate and Elesh Norn hate, where you actually can Prismatic Ending on 5. And having access to just a couple cards in your deck to be able to kill opposing Elesh Norn is starting to become a bit of a priority for me. It went from being something that I didn't really care much about to something that I actually do care a lot about now. And against Blood Moon, yeah, we have Leyline Binding and Boseiju and Night of Autumn. Leyline Binding, if you can fetch your planes, which we have 6 white fetches, cost 4 mana. Less if we have one more. We're playing to sec Elesh for Atraxa. We're playing to sec Solitude for Atraxa. So the nut draw here is like turn 2 Solitude Ephemerate, untap Eldritch Evolution into Atraxa. I do agree. You would want that card. Alright, like this hand, let's keep it. Would I try out another Souls game like Wong Lu Fallen Dynasty? I don't know. I mean, I haven't ever played Demon Souls or Bloodborne. Those are like really high on my list. I know I've been saying this for a while, but like more so than any time before now, the run is getting really close. Ornstein and Smo, I think, are going to be pretty consistent at this point. The entire run's pretty consistent. We had a personal best last night, and dude, we have Knight of Autumn double Ephemerate against Affinity. Or I'm presuming Affinity, I guess. Things are getting much better on the run. So I'm starting to look a little bit into the future. We'll see. Wow. Should Norn Elementals in general be running Utopia Sprawl over Abundant Growth? I mean, Abundant Growth is good with Elesh Norn. You get to draw 2 cards, so I'm not like really opposed to that card. Don't really want to get a blue source. We're really like Naya splash, or green white splashing red, splashing blue, splashing black, or maybe Naya splashing blue and black. So I'm not really wanting to just like get a Steam Vince here super aggressively. I think I'm also going to go ahead and ping him in my. Just Natty have the main deck Knight of Autumn. So next we can go Wrenn and Six, Triome, Ephemerate maybe. I think Evolution could work in a Reanimator build. So we had a Neoform Atraxa list the other day that I thought was solid. We might have 5-0'd with it actually. I don't think we did. We did. I remember doing like reasonably well with it. I think on their upkeep, I'm going to go ahead and Ephemerate the Knight, blow up the Springleaf Drum. I did see the Modern Treasure deck with Graz. I was really surprised to see that card in the deck. Yeah, it just really surprised me. I'm not saying it's like I've like written it off as bad or anything, but I was surprised. I'll say that. Yeah, I've seen Scion Evolution. I think that's okay. Kind of punish you for doing under upkeep. Yeah, I suppose so. They didn't have the rebuke up. The good news is we're still super ahead. Could maybe have like killed this, then pinged, but I think I'd be a bit more interested in just picking this up here, and then probably a reasonable spot to go for Elesh Norn. We'll be able to double up Eternal Witness, Ephemerate triggers. We have double binding trigger up available here. Probably has some ETBs this stops, like Thought Monitor, or maybe Urza. And of course, our whole deck is just like ridiculous when you have Elesh Norn in play. Well, I really would love to double up Atraxa triggers. Don't think I can do it this turn because I have to go turn it. Yeah, I'm like 1 mana short. I'm going Witness, Ephemerate, Solitude. But I'll just hold up Hardcast Solitude, and then we can get doubled Atraxa trigger. Razor, 14 months, thank you. Yeah, I agree. This deck's pretty sweet. No cards for you. Well, it's too bad Emiria O2'd me at the challenge. Never calling Emiria back. No, my dreams! Now we'll never Atraxa this game. Although we could also just hardcast it. Well, wait, maybe we have enough mana this time. Because we can go, we have 7 mana. Eternal Witness, get back Solitude, Ephemerate. Oh yeah, we have exactly enough. I've kind of stopped prioritizing making the right play, and I've started prioritizing putting Atraxa on the stack. They might concede to this. Game won by Wrenn and Six. I don't know. The whole Knight of Autumn Ephemerate did a lot of work too, huh? Wrenn and Six, big good though. Big good, absolutely. Not a bad first game of the day, huh? Not a bad first game of the day. Alright, so extra Boseiju, Needle, Knight of Autumns. We're cutting this to Teferi. I can bring in the Chalice Zero on the play. I'm not really that interested in having it on the draw. I'm gonna cut the Riders for sure. I'm with these Prismatic Endings. They're probably okay. Just more early interaction. I know that was an awesome turn. I'm actually gonna cut the Atraxa this kind of matchup though. I think maybe we leave it in. Actually, no. We're gonna leave it in. I think. They're playing a lot of 1-mana counter spells. Could make some sense to cut an Eldritch Evolution. Well, trim a wall, trim a Rallier. I really want to leave in the Atraxa, but I think it actually makes sense to trim a Evolution and the Atraxa. The Shell Street against Infinity, yeah, they play like between 8 and 12 0 drops. So like just if you have it in your opening hand on the play, it could be pretty good. When do you Eldritch Evolution and Emrakul? I wish I could remember the Matrix lines, like whenever you can start perceiving reality for what it actually is. What's the reason behind Rallier over Channeler or something else? Well, I mean, very, very simply put, I think that Rallier is the best option. You know what I mean? That's usually, you know, in this deck, and usually it's a bit of a more complicated answer because we're playing like maybe a synergy-based deck, but this is a mid-range deck, and I think that Renegade Rallier is specifically like ramping you turn 3 into turn 5 for Elesh Norn is particularly nice. Getting you back 2 creatures, so if they have extra removal, your Eldritch Evolutions still trigger. There's just kind of like a lot going on, I guess, that make me like particularly excited about Rallier. I think that Aether Channeler was a card I was really excited for in the Bant Collected Company deck. I thought that Aether Channeler was specifically good at that shell because you had both Collected Company, so you really needed to have like these 3-mana hits that like impacted the board immediately, and then you also needed to have With Soul Herder specifically, the card plays really well, and we don't have Collected Company, we don't have Soul Herder. And I'm really not of the opinion that the card is that good without those requirements. Certainly not that bad. My opponent definitely has Metallic Rebuke up here. I think I'll just go ahead and trade for the Metallic Rebuke. And that way I can really open myself up next turn. Me only leaving 1 white source of stuff here. I could maybe have prioritized not getting Domain for a second white source. Is this deck a potential shell for Shape Anew, Portal to Phyrexia? I mean, like, that... So, like, if you're talking about Shape Anew, Portal in, like, the 4-color mid-range Elementals deck, that's, like, been a thing for a while, and I think that if you were to play that package of cards, it would come at the cost of the Eldritch Evolution thing that we're currently doing. If that makes sense. Okay, I guess we're hoping they don't have a second Rebuke. Stonebrain, wow. They're not ever going to name Knight of Autumn, right? It's not the end of the world if they do. Yeah, they'll name it Atraxa. They might name Eldritch Evolution. Have you thought of Enigmatic Incarnation, Leyline for Atraxa? I think that plan is bad in general. I think that that's not something that you want to be doing in Modern. Could be wrong. They named Solitude, okay. Would not recommend bringing in Stonebrain in these kind of matchups. You have a lot of turns like this where you just like spend 4 mana and nothing happens. Although, if you really want to see what I'm playing and you don't want to ghost me, then this is a good way to do that. Yeah, Stormlight for combo. They're just taking a good, nice look at the deck list. Looking for the Atraxa, which has been cited out. Quicksmith Genius instead of Riddlesmith, since it ETB triggers rather than cast up Shell. I mean, the difference of 3 and 2 mana is just like night and day, right? I think that that difference is the entire reason not to. How long would you let an opponent look at paper before calling a judge? 1 second. And then I would blatantly lie to the judge about the amount of time they spent. I don't know. I've never had a reasonable amount of time. That's pretty good. Guess I have to like Omnath and gain life. I mean, I need to kill this cranial plating too. So let me attack for 2, Ephemerate my Knight, cast Eternal Witness, get back Knight, place Demons tapped. Is there a reason to shock Breeding Pool end of turn to hold up Ephemerate? Do you think that Breeding Pool casts Ephemerate? I can't cast Ephemerate. That's what? Yeah, we only have 1 white source. This is the only one. Just a single Triumphs or 5 color. Yeah, I've definitely been guilty of the same thing. Okay, so we're taking 9, which is a lot of damage. We can be just gaining a ton of life with the Knight of Autumns here, so they're really gonna need a 3rd cranial plating. I think because we have the other Ephemerate in our hand and we're choked on white mana, we just Ephemerate here, blow up the cranial plating. Sure wouldn't mind a white source ever. So I can only cast one of these spells. I think it should probably be Ephemerate. Ephemerate Witness for fetch. Ooh. Then we have to fetch Shock, but then we can gain 4. Yeah, that's probably correct, though. Like, block gain 4 here. Really unlock the hand. And we still don't die to cranial plating, because we can go to 4, take 2, after blowing up the other cranial plating with the second Ephemerate or Leyline Binding. Good draw for them. Thoughts on the sideboard named Karthus, Tyrant of Jund against Murktide. Not because it's good, because it make a good Treater square. That's a good enough reason. Stealing Murktide is a good enough reason. Good luck. Udok, 23 months, thank you. Alright. Let's go ahead and fetch Shock, gain... Oh no. I'm dead to Galvanic Blast. Okay. So they don't have it. Thankfully. So 2 Ephemerates coming off rebound. We'll definitely flicker Witness 1 time. Probably okay to kill the Patchwork Automaton. We can get more Ephemerates going later if we need to. Okay. Now we've really got white mana. We're gonna play Tyver Elves? I don't know, dude. I feel like every day I wake up thinking I'm gonna play Tyver Elves, and I never do. So I guess it actually makes sense to Ephemerate this Witness now, so I don't let them like top deck Galvanic Blast, and I still have the Binding up. Let the record show he missed 2 damage last turn by not attacking with Witness before Ephemerate. Then they have the Patchwork Automaton to block. I want to know, what is this Dark Souls run as? When is it happening? Well, it's been happening for like 3 months. It is me trying to beat Dark Souls 1 without taking a hit. We hit a big wall for like 3 weeks where getting through Ornstein and Smo was really inconsistent, but I went on like a training montage this weekend, and I'm starting to think that it is going to be consistent. I have a strategy that takes more time, but is much, much safer. And then, so I showed it off for the first time yesterday on stream, and we got through Ornstein and Smo. We did 1 run yesterday, we got through Ornstein and Smo, and then we took a really painful hit right before Seath, but we got nearly to the end of the run. We're, you know, we're like 70% through. You could have turned off Battlecraft. I can't. They have 3 indestructible artifact lands right here. I think I'm actually just going to not Ephemerate. I think the main way I lose is the Galvanic Blast my Witness. Am I going to lower the times you get hit to 0 hits? Lower the times once you get hit? No, speedrunning and no-hit running are like just... I don't think it makes any sense, really, to me, to try to like marry the 2 categories. They're just their own things. You can speedrun or no hit, sure. It's just, for me, it's just not that interesting either. I will definitely be taking a break. I will definitely be taking a break after this like long, painful. We're like right about 3 months of trying to run now. Like one month off stream, 2 months on stream. Could this deck run Oof Stony? Could. I think we have all these Knight of Autumns though, so they'll probably be better with the Ephemerate plane, as you can see here. So I'm not sure how necessary that is. Need an Elesh Norn. Yeah, Norn too, of course. Wow, they're leaving Mekat's Champion to block. I guess with that being the case, I'll just go... I'm not dead to Galvanic Blast anymore, so I can just go ahead and get a tapped Simple Garden, Rebound, Ephemerate on the Witness, target the Ephemerate. If they crack the Relic, I'll just Ephemerate the Witness again in response. Playing less Ephemerate and 1 or 2 other call might be better. Okay, I'm saying this not as a... You know, this is always as a learning opportunity, not as, you know, anything personal. I think playing less than 4 Ephemerate in this deck is just silly. I think it's just incorrect to play less than 4 Ephemerate. Ephemerate is like one of, if not your best card. You also have 4 Eldritch Evolutions already like functioning as... you already have 4 Eldritch Evolutions functioning as your creature tutor. So Eldarmy's the need for Eldarmy's Call is like much smaller. Almost like just not needed in my opinion, to be honest. And when that comes at the cost of playing less than 4 of your best card, I just think it's silly. I just think it's silly to play less than 4 Ephemerate. In your deck that's playing Wall and Solitude and Omnath and Eternal Witness, it's just I just don't understand why people I understand in part like you're saying that because people are doing it. Like, what the hell? No, I'm not getting boom busted right now. But Eldarmy's Call also like Eldarmy's calling for Elesh Norn / Atraxa is not very good. This is also like, You're like way more incentivized to get those into play by other means, if that makes sense. Float white and blink Rallier. These are both Knight of Autumns. I'm gonna go ahead and we can get back a bunch of lands with our Eternal Witness here on the rebound. Float mana, let the bus destroy lands, and use our mana to ephemerate witness and get back some lands. Or we can just do that on the rebound. Each like rebound is also like 2 lands. What a funny game, huh? Boom bust. Concede. Doesn't this just guarantee that I win? Yeah, it seems like it. It seems like I've been like almost guaranteed to win for like 4 or 5 turns too. Like I just could never see myself cutting Solitude, Mulldrifter, Fury, Elesh Norn for the 5-drop slot, and you are very limited on the number of 5-drops you can play in Modern. All white cards, no white mana. Let's go to 40. 4-card hand with 2 fetches and a Wrenn and Six is better than this. Why no 1-drops? Yeah, we have Ephemerate and Leyline Binding. And Solitude. Let's go. You never lead with 1-drop. You can go Solitude, Ephemerate. But that's okay, not every deck needs to lead with the 1-drop either. This is a, slower deck. Come on, you always play turn 1 pass in Modern. Yeah, that's not, again, not the case. Sorry, I need to be fetching here. I meant to yield till instep, not end of turn. Goes Zagoth, Sacred Foundry. Oh wow, just draw the Sacred Foundry. Okay, we really need this run to resolve on the Mulldrifter. Awesome. How much do you think Goblins is? Whoa, they missed their land drop. I think Goblins has been a relatively underplayed deck in Modern for a while now. Let me just... I don't think I'm going to play the Witness and not get anything back. Yeah, just pass back. I think the underplayed deck for sure. I thought Birds of Paradise would be nice in a 5-color shell. Birds of Paradise is just not a good card. It's like you can play it in like exactly Yawgmoth, but in general, Birds of Paradise is like just not a particularly playable Modern card, and I know that hurts to say. Rhinos, maybe Rhinos. I did tip for deck. I missed it, Zach. Can you post your link in the chat? Okay, nice draw. Do you have any thoughts on a deck you would take to Devin this weekend? Pro SCG in Modern. I've been kind of liking Prowess a lot in Rhinos. Yeah, it just Wrenn and Six decks can just mold a 4. Yeah, it's awesome. Okay, Gruul Storm. So this looks like the Caleb Schur version, or close to it. What did they do? It says in the game log that they cast their own username. That can't be true. Oh, Leyline Binding is on the stack. I missed it. It's like covering up the Leyline Binding in my hand. I'm like, yeah, like it was over the binding in my hand, so I thought that was just the binding in my hand. And then the chat log was no help. So if you're binding in response to the binding trigger, then it doesn't get to exile the thing. Same thing with Boseiju. Alright, so let's go and put a Omnath into play. Seems like they're considering solituding this. They are, and pitching a Solitude. It's okay. Yeah, new to Magic Online. No, Vat of Rebirth is not close to playable in Modern. It's a 4-mana reanimate spell that you have to do a lot of work for. In a format with Goria's Vengeance and Persist. Okay, so I will say this. Strike It Rich is a card that when I was working on this archetype, I didn't playtest, but I kind of like initially perceived to be, what? Okay, they're definitely Rhinos. This card's actually really good in Rhinos, huh? We actually don't have, we have just Ephemerate and... Oh, funny, Elesh Norn turns off the Kiora. Elesh Norn turns off the Kiora, draw. Do you think I'm gonna plus still? So, I never played tested Strike It Rich, but I have heard Caleb and I am actually level 1 say that the card is very good in this deck. Again, this is not something I have like any kind of frame of reference for. Wait, what are they doing? What is this? Fuck. No. It's not fair. Game 1 Elesh Norn? I'm not equipped to beat this. Oh, and I was going to draw Avalanche Riders. The only thing that can beat an Elesh Norn is another Elesh Norn. Pending for 5. I have no pendings in the main deck. They're all on the sideboard. Time to start Boseijuing. Maybe next turn. I'm going to keep holding the Boseiju up for... No, I guess I don't need to hold up for Binding. Binding doesn't do anything. Sure. What a game. So, like, overall, this is, like, a pretty established version. It's not something... I think that if Strike It Rich is good, this is very close to what I'd be playing. There's a good chance I would do something like 4th Grape Shot over 2nd Lightning Bolt. In the main deck, I might do something like 4 Grape Shot, 1 Empty the Warren, 0 Lightning Bolt. Although I was always like basically playing like that and then like Lightning Bolt over Strike It Rich. But I agree that Lightning Bolt's not amazing. Yeah, I guess they have the Teferi advantage here, huh? Lightning Bolt not amazing, and I only have 1 Teferi in the deck. They have to be Rhinos, right? If they're playing Kiora, maybe they're not. We haven't seen anything that would signify otherwise yet. Like that. Okay, so I guess I just don't understand the Kiora then. Maybe they're playing Utopia Sprawl. Yeah, I think Atraxa beatdown is going to be what we're on to. Yeah, but ultimately I wouldn't make almost any changes to the list if you like Strike It Rich. I think that, you know, I was doing a lot of work on the archetype, but then Caleb and I'm actually level 1 started working a lot on the archetype, and I just haven't picked it up since that time, really. I did run 2 MT instead of 2 Bold. I'm curious about the sideboard. Yeah, I think the sideboard looks really good. I should say. I think the sideboard looks really good. If there's like a lot of burn in your local area, you should be considering Weather the Storm, but it does seem like, at least on Magic Online, burn is like ticking down in popularity, so I wouldn't be too likely to worry too much about that. Alright, so I have a couple of Prismatic Endings as just like ways to get Norn off the field. It's like not in a super efficient answer, but what's nice is that it's kind of like a more versatile sideboard card in general. Yeah, I know they're not Rhinos. I thought that the Kiora plus like them playing only 3+ drops did mean Rhinos. Now the Kiora is just kind of throwing me off, to be honest. How's my Murktide matchup? Probably good. Kiora is Omnath, draw 4. Kiora is Omnath, draw 4. Yeah, maybe it's just good. I don't know. It's like, I'm trying to think how many cards I have to trigger this. Like, if it's 4 Omnath, 2 or 3 Elesh Norns, that's like not that many 4-power creatures. It does ramp into Elesh Norn. So you think 2 empty mainboard could work? Yeah, I was on 2 empty mainboard when I was playing the deck, Zach, and I thought that it was a good direction to be. But it didn't feel super mandatory either. Like, it was like, the problem with that deck is like, there really didn't feel like there was a particularly bad way to build things. Yeah, I think my only out to this is gonna be to Atraxa. I don't even want to be Boseiju them because they have their Wrenn. I concede for content angle. Getting close, maybe. I don't know. I have an out. We'll play it out. Did I play Mill Protection Paper? I did last weekend. Or 2 weekends ago. I don't know. Mill's been like so popular at Magic Online. It is a very good deck, and yeah, the out is Atraxa, flying over them. So I guess I mean, I can just... Oh, well, no way. I'm going to try to double block. Die, Elesh Norn! Die! Let's go! 2 seconds after that. Spike, is this a concede for content portion of the game? No! Maybe it is a concede for content portion of the game. Fuck. I'm glad I registered some way to kill this card, huh? In the sideboard, though. Yeah, I have no endings in the main deck. I just, like, I don't think that Elesh Norn is popular. Like, it's so weird that, like, Elesh Norn is, like, really the main reason you'd want a main deck Prismatic Ending in this deck. But I have a couple copies of the sideboard. Might be Path's time to shine. I don't know. Instant or sorcery-based removal for sure. Path is, like, better against specifically Elesh Norn. Prismatic Ending is a better sideboard card overall. Boseiju all their lands since Norn subs their Omnath triggers. I don't know that it's a really realistic plan to Boseiju all their lands. I think keeping Wren's loyalty under control is like somewhat of a priority. I've got 3 Teferi. Yeah, we still have 1 Teferi in our deck. We have 1 Teferi, 1 Atraxa. I think I have all my fetchables in play as well. What has Modern become? Completed. Wrenn and Six never ultimates. Well, I didn't want to ultimate it and not keep it around here. Rebounding Ephemerate is also like... Or retracing Ephemerate is also like not that crazy. Like their Wrenn and Six is better than mine. They don't have that many sorceries or instants. They also have this Waterlogged Grove. Terminate? Could play Terminate. It's not that easy to cast, but it doesn't seem that ridiculous, to be honest. Maybe like a Doomblade. Why are they main phasing this? No, no bolts. Probably need another creature in play. What a game. Clock management is a real thing, though. Clock management is a real thing. I'll concede if I'm 0%, but, you know, I'm gonna have 3 minutes on the clock. This game isn't going anywhere. I know that these are, like, the worst kind of games to watch, though. We haven't seen a Prismatic Ending out of them yet. The presence of Kiora makes me kind of think they might not have it, but I also have Ephemerate to, like, potentially protect from a Prismatic Ending. Assassin's Trophy, I don't know. Again, we'll think about it some more. I think I'd be closer to like registering Doomblade than Assassin's Trophy, because like against Murktide, giving them the extra land is pretty tough. Murderous Cut, maybe. Yeah, something like that. Something like that. We have Prismatic Ending, which, you know, gets the job done. It's not very efficient, but, you know, it's also like extra cyber card against Hammer, and Hammer's been, you know, not unpopular. I think I need to keep this under control. I really don't want to play the wall because I want them to attack. Modex, 60 months, thank you. At that point, I like Infernal Grasp. Well, it's like literally like what card does Doomblade miss? Like you're only bringing it in against like Hammertide, Murktide, Elesh, Norn. Misses Atraxa, I guess. We're joined to Ending. We're joined to Teferi and Atraxa or Evolution for Atraxa. Yeah, but we could just all, you know, name Doomblade variants for a while, because there's nothing else to do here. Nothing else to do. Atraxa doesn't do anything. Atraxa is a 7/7 flyer, and they're at 14. And most of the removal for Atraxa is turned off because we have Elesh Norn in play. Probably end up casting a Solitude here. Yeah, they might deck themselves. They might deck themselves. We'll see. How's this an Atraxa deck? We have, so you can turn 3 Atraxa with Solitude Ephemerate. I don't like Atraxa in these decks when you're just, I'm gonna hardcast this one, but I do think in this kind of deck it's fine. Yeah, you can go turn 2 Solitude Ephemerate and Eldritch Evolution into Atraxa. That's your nut draw for sure. Gonna be a long morning. I guess so. I guess so. Could it send in everything? No, they kill my Elesh Norn. A new Trash for Treasure idea? Is this the Juggernaut? I saw it. Like this is kind of cool because like turning your like Ragavan, Haywire Might, Engineer, Mutt into 5/3s is kind of interesting. It's not something that like I ever like thought could be a thing. They're pinging at a Solitude, so they're just gonna play a second Wrenn and Six. How's that better than Waterlogged Grove here? I'm like thrilled that this is happening though. Their Wrenn and Six Ultimate must not be very good either. Isn't ping opponent with Wrenn? No, I'm trying to stop them from ultimating their Wrenn, because I'm in theory their Wrenn ultimate is better than mine, but that now seems like that's not the case. When everyone has Norn out, how do I win? Well, we're gonna try to Atraxa them. That's gonna be the play. No, I don't think that's worth an Ephemerate to save the Solitude there, especially when I just have another Solitude in my hand. The Ephemerates are like Norn protection. Yeah, I'll Boseiju the Stomping Ground. Yeah, maybe I should have been Boseiju. No, I need my plan to ping the Wrenn back then made more sense, but now I can go ahead and just Boseiju them at least once a turn. Yeah, one Teferi, one Atraxa. So they have a Plains. Yeah, I can't Boseiju this. I can't Boseiju Basic Forest. Yeah, they have a Boseiju. Oh, they have a Boseiju in the yard. Did they not realize that? When did this go to the yard? It's been a while. We both totally missed it. Uh-oh. We're dead? Maybe, hopefully. Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be great? Yeah, we still had 3 Eldritch Evolutions in the deck. We we had like 5 good draws for this entire time. Never drew any of them. Is this game impossible to win for both except decking out? Seemingly not. They have more Teferis than I do, which is like a huge advantage for them. Where did my Norn go? They Teferi bounced it. Also, like, very notably, going into game 2, like, over 5 minutes ahead on clock is going to be really relevant this matchup. I'm alive, ready to go to 13, and then they have 11. Yeah, they said they punted. We'll see how much it matters. No, I'm not dead. I'll concede if I'm dead. Chop down by Mirth to add. I don't have Eldarmir's Call in the deck. We have Prismatic Ending. We have outs to Elesh Norn. We have 2 outs to Norn. I'll save them for Norn post board. I don't like the lists that are playing both Eldarmir's Call and Evolution. I think like you have to pick one or the other. Draw 4, huh? Yeah, Meddling Mage named Norn's probably not very good because we're also playing Norn. That's the problem. Right on time, Atraxa. Yeah, I guess I should have just been deploying blockers a bit more aggressively. We're dead. We're gonna go to game 2. Not going to set out too much. We got the Avalanche Riders. Maybe 4th Solitude can get the axe. I think 1 Knight of Autumn is okay against their Binding. It's not amazing. Doesn't seem too bad. No, you can't Meddling Mage. Not in this matchup. Or you shouldn't Meddling Mage in this matchup. Get a wall, I think. Yeah, we mulled a 4 that game. Forgot about that. Weird game. Long game. I'm like a whole different person now. You know what? I actually think that maybe I'm supposed to... No, I need to play... If this was the Naya Triome... If this was the Naya Triome, I think holding it to cycle would be okay. But it's the Sultai one, and I think the fact that this can hardcast Atraxa is... Our only land to cast Atraxa means I need to play it. The Norn is more present, the spell-based removal will have an uptick. Yeah, like, it'll have an uptick in decks that are really soft to Elesh Norn, I guess. Oh, this is also my Prismatic Ending for 5 land, right? Yeah, it's kind of... I know we lost the game, but it actually feels like we're pretty ahead because my opponent has 9 minutes, 30 seconds, and if they lose game 2, it's just over. Okay, Wrenn and Six Mirror. Isn't the fact that it's the only land that produces black a problem? I really don't think so. At the very least, it's not like a big enough problem for me to like want to play 2 lands that tap for black. I have 1 black card in the deck that's a 7-drop that I'm trying to evolution into. And I have 2 Prismatic Endings on the board. I feel like that's fine. Okay, so I ping this down to 3, and then they ping down to 2. It's okay. Terminator supposed to be good in a Hellraiser Brew. You thought about bringing those cards together. We played those 2 cards together last week. No, I don't... Aggressively Boseijuing your opponent's lands, in my opinion, isn't really a thing. Not in this kind of matchup. They have like... They probably have like... I have like 10 vegetables. They have like, you know, close to 10. It's just like... Not this early, at least. It's like a super duper late game thing that like doesn't even matter that much. Discard Kiora. Not at all, Simon. Not at all. I mean, you can still see this. I'm just crouching. I know it's kind of. I know that every plate is kind of big, but I already have 17 signups, which is pretty cool. It kind of just sells itself. Hitting triumphs can make domain harder. Yeah, I think that is like somewhat of a real thing. But here, if I like hit they just get a Temple Guard and they still have domain. Okay, so second Kiora. What does the 20th sign up get me? They all get me the same amount of money, but it's really for you to like clickbait you into getting up to 20. Could maybe have just let this go, since I have the second Wrenn and Six in my hand, but also like getting to use my mana seems really nice, and if they're gonna use their second Leyline Binding, then by all means, opponent. Oh, I always forget about this. I always forget against Wrenn and Six, you're supposed to let the binding happen so you can get more loyalty. That's not the first time I made that mistake. Why don't you want loyalty reset? It was a mistake, chat. It was a mistake. Mistake I've made a few times before. One mistake in chat, just 1,000 people saying the same thing. Let's go ahead and binding the Kiora. Hopefully they don't have the Elesh Norn advantage this game. I kind of feel like if I leave the Teferi in play, there's a decent chance that they minus it this turn, which would like me instant speed Solitude. I could be overthinking it a bit. Like kind of an anemic draw though. Draven, thank you for this subscription, 24 months, every 2 years. Do you want to Boseiju them off black mana? Not really. Boseijuing a Triome in the yard is risky because of a future Wrenn and Six also. Uh-oh. So they do bounce the binding, getting back their Kiora. Which lets me like maybe hardcast Solitude, which is obviously my whole deck is so much worse with opposing Norn in play. Yeah, I know they're on 5 minutes on the clock. We have some outs to this. Wooded Evolution, we can put our own Elesh Norn into play. So we have like 7 outs to Norn, we have Atraxa to draw, we have 2 Prismatic Endings, we have a Teferi. What in the world? Stunlock, thank you for the gifted sub to Elder Jeep. Thanks, one of my good outs. I think I'll just put a Solitude into play. Draw nothing. Let's attack the Ashiok. I need to turn Evolution back into a good draw, I think. And then I could Ephemerate to save this Witness. Or I can just let it go. Feels very close. I think I'm just gonna let it go. And I'm gonna play my second Witness so that I have Evolution is a better top deck. There are 9. Is there no world we go for life total? We need to kill the Ashok to turn Evolution into a good top deck. I don't know. This match has been a sea of people going, Boseiju their land spike! Go after their life total! And like neither line just like accomplishes almost anything. I don't know. I know this is a boring game, but sometimes you gotta play boring games. We could do it after and get our ETB trigger again. I guess you could untap the Solitude. It doesn't really matter here. Huh. I need to save one of them. I think I'll go and just save both of them. Since I think right now I'm playing to like just have an Elesh Norn and stalemate, and so I need to like keep Evolution as live out, and so like having only one creature in play at that point is just like a disaster potentially. Interesting they attack me instead of Wrenn and Six also. We might as well put these in the yard. Of, you know, good amount of top decks. We have 1 Prismatic Ending. Okay, Rallier is not very good. I'll cast it though. That's 7 power, baby. That's 7 power. And they concede the match. They can't finish the match in time. Well, easy game. A no lander. I can keep this one. I should put back the breeding pool. Was that a clock win? I guess my opponent seemingly gave up after going down to like a little over 2 minutes on the clock. I think they gave up a little early, honestly, but we're not complaining. Oh, is this Dredge? Huh. Wonder what our Dread matchup is like. Gotta be really good, right? No, I had 4 endurance this morning. I ended up trimming 1. I do think that if we can somehow like have the nut draw of an early Atraxa, then that can get us out of this. If we draw an Ephemerate here, we're also kind of doing okay because you have a Solitude Ephemerate loop with Eternal Witness. Elesh counter Amalgam. I mean, yeah, but that's also like super slow. Is Dredge good again? Dredge has been a good deck for a while. There's a lot of decks in Modern that are good, but everyone just wants to play Murktide, as you all know. Yeah, I think I have to draw exactly Ephemerate to even have a chance. Why the Rallier is just ramped, didn't see deck tech. They're ramp and they're good to Evolution into Elesh Norn, and what's nice is if you go turn 3 Rallier, you can go turn 4 Evolution away Rallier, and then have a mana up with Norn for like Leyline Binding. They can get, you have walls in deck they can get back. I think even Ephemerate probably doesn't let us get out of this. Is this? Yeah, post a link in chat. What do you think of this sideboard? What do you think of this sideboard? Would I change it current list? Yeah, I don't want to change a ton of for the current list unless like you felt like you need to really respect burn. Yeah, I don't think pitch Solitude twice lets us do anything. We needed to block with the Solitude. Okay, we're gonna bring in these endurances. Meddling Mage can be okay. Like one big issue is they have like Now they have Thrilling Discovery and Cathartic Reunion, so it's kind of tough to like really keep them off of it. We can maybe try to high roll a bit with that plan. But I also think just like, you know, you have some number of endurances, you have like Eternal Witness loop to like, you know, to loop them. I think a Knight of Autumn to like gain life can also be pretty nice. Could be like a little narrow. Cut the Mulldrifter. This is maybe just fine, and like we just need to mulligan somewhat aggressively to either like a fast, like, you know, Solitude, Ephemerate, Evolution into Atraxa, which is a lot, or, you know, a hand with Endurance, or a hand with like, you know, maybe a fast-ish Elesh Norn. Walls are also like okay in this matchup. They block, you know, all the 3-power zombies. Okay, so this hand has no, can't cast Wrenn, none of those other aspects. So I think we need to mulligan. Okay, this hand can cast. This has Solitude, Ephemerate, plus Wrenn and Six, with the ability to top deck Eldritch Evolution, hopefully. Let's go ahead and keep. Mage better than Leyline? I don't know. Leyline's not terrible. It ain't that good either. If Norn stops Oval Chase, Norn should stop Amalgam. So, oh yeah, Norn is not supposed to stop Oval Chase Daredevil. I think it does currently on Magic Online. Stop Endurance. Dude, they mulled to 5. What? Stop. What is... You can't mull to 5 and have all this. It's worth keeping Witness over Wrenn for the Ephemerate loop. I kept all the Witnesses in, and I kept all the Wrenns in. Dude, they milled over another Otherworldly Gaze. In your hands? No, you need the white card to pitch the Solitude. I think that's more important. Oh, over the Wrenn? No, the Wrenn also seems like very important too. I don't know. I think this was correct, the cards we kept. TBH. This Pro's kind of settled on 2 Breach. I think 2 Breach is absolutely wrong. I think it's 3 or 4 Breach in Prowess. I've been playing 4 and been very happy with 4. I think the players only playing 2 Breach are building their decks incorrectly. Just with the subscription, thank you. The milled over Sneak we done, but another Otherworldly Gaze. Okay, so I think we'll just go ahead and get our Triome here. Take up the Wrenn pass. Yeah, I think 3 Breach main is fine. I think that's fine. I've been liking 4 a lot. I don't think that 4 main deck is mandatory, but I think that 2 is incorrect. Where's my 2? 3 months ago, thank you. The second match was it was like a kind of mirror. It was long and painful. Didn't even get to game 3. Yeah. Let me. Yeah, I didn't see the link in the chat existed. So you want me to look at your sideboard changes? I like the Lay Down Arms. That was a card we were considering in the deck. I remember. Is 4 or 5 color Omnath a tough matchup for food? Feels like Asmo's your best card. I usually don't mind that matchup. It's just kind of annoying, like long and painful maybe, but I wouldn't call it bad. So I like the Lay Down Arms. I would maybe be interested in something I kind of talked about, and I didn't do for the challenge this weekend, but maybe I should have. But something I talked about was maybe doing minus cut all the Sanctifiers and just play 4 Lay Down Arms, and then that gives you, like, you know, an out to Elesh Norn is starting to seem more and more important. So I guess we're just going to Solitude Ephemerate, get rid of the Amalgams, Wrenn and Six ping, and then play Elesh Norn. Could also take up the Wrenn so that I can Rimblum Ephemerate. That might be a bit better. Although I guess we can't Rimblum Ephemerate if they have the Narcomoeba in play. But if they're just going to be Narcomoeba attacking my Wrenn and Six, that's maybe okay as well. Too bad Elesh Norn doesn't turn off Creeping Chill. Solitude the Amoeba. I think I'd rather Solitude the Amalgam. How many chills? I think they've hit 2, so we can't die this turn. I guess we could maybe get conflagrated. Unlikely though. And then this turning off Oxyvagonus, and then any future amalgams, although they only have 1 left. It's kind of nice. They usually play like 3 fetchables. I hear you. I see currently 4 fetchables like around those, so like that's just at least not perfect info. Temporary Lockdown's a really good card in this deck, but I don't like that it gets rid of your own Heartless Summoning. I think that's probably too much tension. Ooh. Well, I can't say no to this. Endurance, Ephemerate, Forest, Binding, Evolution. Go again. Omnath, Island. Okay. Let's go. So I think maybe I want another Knight of Autumn if they're going to be in on Leyline. I don't know if I want 3. Kind of Witness. No, the Witness, Solitude Ephemerate Witness is actually kind of important. Kind of Binding on the draw. The Binding also answers Leyline. I guess with Binding for Leyline, I'll just only play 1 Knight. Yeah, so I don't want to play the Temporary Lockdown. I do want to play the second Wismare, so I think I'll be still 2/2, 4 Lay Down Arms, no Sanctifier. I like that direction. 3 Dolphins Veto, 1 Spreading Seas is fine. I don't necessarily love it, but I'd be kind of interested in trying it. I'm also like kind of considering like cutting the 4th Brought Back for the second Golos, but I'm not sure on that plan, so I'm not advising you to do that. Just something I've considered recently. Okay, my opponent's on a mulligan to 6. I think I have to mulligan this hand too. I think we need to look for something with with endurance, with higher upside in this sketchy matchup. And they don't have Leyline this time, which is nice. Would a March of Otherworldly Bite be better than Lay Down Arms? Not in that deck, since like March is like Lay Down Arms is 1 mana, and like March is not always 1 mana. I think that's the big concern for me. I think you're probably like a little too afraid of Urza Saga, but Urza Saga is not a good card. Or at least it's not a card to be really scared of. What do you care for Leyline? Wait, Endurance. Okay, so they can't dredge Ox here, or they can't cast Ox quite yet. So usually let them like put the dredgers back in their hand and then endurance in these kind of spots. Okay, I don't need to do anything right now. So I need to endurance before their draw step, and I think I'll endurance now so they don't get to like set up their draw with the Otherworldly Gaze. I think we'll just go ahead and get Domain as well. Elesh Norn doesn't interact with sagas. Somehow they always have a second. I don't know. It's always so weird that they always have a second, because they're like putting dredgers in their hand with the draws. But thankfully we're not getting 2 wrecked. They do have 2 amalgams in the yard and a Stinkweed Imp, but we've got some draws here. That one's not too bad. Maybe a little slow. Oh, they hit Ox. We're dead. I think we're dead. I found Endurance to be lackluster against Red Jacks. I mean, yeah, I don't know. So, like, Endurance is, like, you know, it's Graveyard Hate, and so it's, like, still a really premium card. But, like, I agree, 3 Endurances don't give you a good Dredge matchup. Four Creeping Shells, 4 Narcomoebas. Oh boy. I concede. A lot of one-landers today. Keep this one, though. Did we really need to Endurance when we did? They didn't have anything great. Was it missing? We had to Endurance either, but like on our main phase, on their upkeep or their draw step. They had an Ox of Agonis and 2 mana, the ability to escape the Ox. We had to Endurance. And I chose to Endurance on my main phase so that they couldn't set up their next turn with Otherworldly Gaze. And I thought I like absolutely feel like that was the correct play. And you know, dredge be dredging. What can you say? Touch as 5th Ephemerate and a way to break the mirror. Honestly, getting rid of like Elesh Norn definitely becoming a more relevant thing in my mind. Curry, 8 months, thank you. What do you think about the Malaria's U piles? Basically lets you Ephemerate Solitude Fury. I haven't seen a list. We talked about Malaria in our like set review that was like an okay use for it, and it's also, you know, a 3/3. Again, boosting for 24 months insulates you against Ink Moth against Hammer. I would look at a list. I think that it's like it's not the most exciting tech though for me, but it is there for sure. I guess we Omnath this turn. Blue, white, green, red. Ping pong the token? Not really that interested. If they kill my Omnath, I can go like Witness Wall. If they upkeep Gaze, they weren't Oxing. I feel like you're maybe not listening. If I upkeep Endurance, they respond with the Gaze, so I have to main phase. Sorry, not listening, but not understanding. If like, no matter what happens, they're not Oxing. We have to stop them from Oxing. So they respond to the Endurance with the Gaze, and then they can like dig for another cathartic effect, but they just had it. Okay, they discard Fatal Push, which is bad news since that seems like super premium card here. Oh, not Liliana of the Veil, no. Was doing a drop step good for anything? It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Main phase lets them not Otherworldly Gaze this turn. Upkeep or draw step lets them Otherworldly Gaze and dig for another Bitter Reunion or a Cathartic Reunion. I don't know. I don't know how many times I can say the same thing, chat. Okay, 3/4 Goyve. Getting a little flooded. And we don't even have like a painless fetch land here either. Okay, we have all Wooded Foothills. You have the Boseiju for the reflection. They only have 3 cards in their hand, though. Thankfully, we're in like our best matchup by a lot. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Did we have coffee left?
I made some. Yeah, we had some beans left.
Well, thank you.
Enough for 1 pot. Well, buy more.
I think I'm chump blocking the Goyf with the wall, maybe. Maybe just block the... Oh, they're sitting both at Wrenn? Interesting. I think with backup Wrenn, my hand to just let this go. John's simply too powerful. I think I Boseiju this while I still have the cost reduction. And then I want to wait to turn on the Rallier so that I can jump block at the wall, rally back the wall. I feel like Wrenn and Six might be a good distraction. We'll see. They attacked it last turn when like ignoring it was probably better. Wait, they didn't have Delirium? Oh, you're kidding. No! I thought for sure they had Delirium. Fuck. Okay, looks like they're gonna go Heat plus Bolts. Damn it. Okay, love that they're attacking the Wrenn though. So I need a Revolt. Perfect. Do I binding both of these now? I think I have to binding the Wrenn because I have the Boseiju. Yeah, they're both top decking. My top decks are better, and I'm kind of ahead on board. So I block like this. If they drew Bolt or Heat, they can kill my Elesh Norn. I think that jumping's okay. Give myself like one top deck here. Draw planes. Gotta love Thoughtseize, huh? Gotta love Thoughtseize. I'm dead to Bolt, so I have to block. It's actually really Goyf, though. Gigantha save me. Goyf is still good, yeah. Goyf is a good modern card, despite what thousands of YouTube videos will tell you. This attack is pretty bold. They're at 3 life. They've been taking the damage. They drew the Heat though. Alright, well, we got some top decks. I knew we were gonna draw Eldritch Evolution. I could feel it coming. Ugh. It's like if Norn's in play, we get Atraxa here, but I was dead to Bolt. We go to 1 here though. We have one more top deck. So I can't Revolt without dying. Am I getting Omnath or am I getting Solitude though? I'm not sure. So Omnath, I get to draw a card. Have a lot of things that could go well there. And I'm basically gaining 7 life, so that you know, I can survive even if I don't draw anything relevant. I don't know if like I have to jump to block the Goyf. Dude, they have another removal spell. Solitude plays on the push. Damn it. Okay, so now I need to draw Leyline Binding. Dead. Witness get Binding. I mean, how is that better than just Solitude? Okay, down a game. Down a game. Boseiju and Treasure doesn't make Revolt? No, it doesn't. But drawing the Wall of Omens there would have been awesome if they didn't have the Fatal Push. Hard matchup to mulligan in. I think I have to, though. I know I can cast the Binding, but the lack of mana there is kind of concerning, and the Evolution wasn't doing anything. Sounds much better, I think. Walls are pretty good. I think Endurance is pretty good against their deck. I think Endurance is not pretty good against their deck. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. It's aggressively medium, in my opinion. Another wall honestly doesn't seem half bad here. And I could like pitch Solitude if they thought sees me, I guess. If they're playing Saga, they don't like could have Riveteer's Charm. This matchup overall should be really good too. I don't think I've said that, but we don't need to be too scared. They just got Shadow Spear? Wow. So bad against the Solitude. Oh, I didn't put the Wall of Omens in my deck to attack, I'll tell you that. I'm gonna block. Alright. There's no way they equip, right? Do they have something to stop this Solitude? They know about the Solitude. Since Shadows is coming to Arena, what are the cards that impacted Modern the most from that block? Once upon a time, the answers would have been like Collective Brutality and Spell Queller, Liliana the Last Hope. Now it's probably Emrakul the Promised End, and there's probably a couple of other cards like this, like Rattle Chains and like Spirits stuff, but for the most part, nothing really is coming to mind as like big impacts. Traverse, yeah, I guess Traverse, no, also not a big impact to be honest. A card that I've grown quite. I've grown a lot of disdain for Traverse lately. Yeah, I think getting into the Lifelinker is kind of nice. I should have attacked with both, actually. It's okay. Tiles Tracker, yeah. Oh, Sigarda's that's a big one. That's a really big one. Yeah, Eldritch Evolution, got that in this deck. Yeah, Tracker, Thing in the Eyes, two former playable cards. Well, I think they may have tapped wrong here. So let's see if we want mana off the Wooded Foothills or if we want life. Okay, gotta go for mana. Atraxa time. Atraxa time. We've done this a lot this league. You think Jund ever beats Atraxa? If not, we have Ephemerate, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Feels pretty good. Yeah, still playing. They're a Jund player. They never concede. Never concede. I guess new 4-color has a new Yori that doesn't require 80 cards. Yeah, maybe. Alright, enchantment, land, instant, sorcery, creature, planeswalker? What? It's too many cards. That's too many. I don't need this many. Remember I was top decking this turn? Right, was that this turn? Can't remember. Guess I could have got Eternal Witness over the or Solitude over the Mulldrifter. But I have Elesh Norn in my hand. Yeah, it's all over. 7-8 or 8-9 over my 7-7. I really shouldn't go. Oh, okay. I should target the Eternal Witness. I forgot we had the rebound Ephemerate. If my hand was empty, they couldn't beat this rebound Ephemerate. It's so funny. If my hand was completely empty, it would not be beatable. Alright, I'll just... They should know about this. Alright. Okay. Besides creativity, what's stopping control being tier 1? Control is only tier 1 when Wafo top 8s, and like is never good otherwise. Honestly, I think control is like a good and underplayed deck. It is you know, the kind of deck that people really are not that interested in playing if the win rate with it isn't like super duper high. But I think that the reality is in Modern that you have a lot of like tier 1, tier 2, whatever that even means anymore. You have a lot of, you know, top tier decks that are capable of winning a lot, capable of doing very well. Murktide Regent, Hammer Time, Control, Creativity, I think are really good staples of decks that like just will always be reasonable choices. And I think that like for Control, it's more so a popularity issue. I think that there's a lot of decks in Modern that are good choices and don't see a lot of play because of popularity issues. I think that Rhinos is like the biggest and clearest example of this dynamic where Rhinos is a really, really good deck. It is like Rhinos has been like for its entire history in Modern, one of like the best choices for almost any tournament you can play. And I think this has been the case for a really long time even. But because Rhinos is like very repetitive and very like relatively boring compared to other strategies in the format, it is just not that popular because it's because it's so repetitive. Don't Liliana. No! Curse you, Liliana of the Veil. Same for Titan. Titan's a little bit different. Titan's a little bit different. Like, kind of the same for Titan, but I feel like Titan players have a slightly different attitude. That's just because they're better than all of us. Probably gonna have to Solitude this go wave. We'll see. I might wait a turn. Because, like, if they plus a Liliana, I can, like, take the hit and maybe Solitude a blocker and then kill the Liliana. How is Titan repetitive as a toolbox? Yeah, it's not that Titan is repetitive. It's that Titan is, like, suffers from a popularity issue where Titan is another deck in that category of, like, control... creativity, or not creativity, creativity is actually really popular, but like Control and Rhinos, and that they are, I think, totally fine decks to choose for the metagame, but they don't see a lot of play because they're like less popular than other options. Like Creativity, Hammer Time, Murktide are very popular options, but I don't actually think that they are like much better choices than like specifically like Titan or Rhinos would be. I guess I'll discard second Solitude. Good old Liliana and Kolagon's command, huh? It's a good draw. Really wish I could play the Wrenn and Six this turn. Yeah, I agree. Titan's difficulty to pilot is a big part of the reason why you have this dynamic. What are we doing? Yeah, getting junded maybe is what we're doing. Nick, 5 months. Thank you. Hope you're doing well. Right, it's kind of boring though. Yeah, that's the exact point I just made. Is that it's unpopular because it's boring, and like Titan is unpopular because it's both very difficult to play, and the players who like have spent the time to learn it are all like way smarter than the rest of us, and they like are smart enough to choose better position decks sometimes. There's a reason for like these decks being less popular choices. Okay, opponent 1 card in hand. We're putting an Omnath into play. Okay, fetch land lets me cast that. I think I'll upkeep binding the Liliana. Is there one else in my MTGO crew that stands around among the rest? Yes. Yeah. Could be a removal spell for Omnath. Is it? I've told the story a million times. But at the 25th anniversary Pro Tour, it was a team Pro Tour. And my team, going into the last round, if we won, we were going to make top 8 of the event, and we were going to secure Pro Tour invites for the next round, be immediately silver. Okay, I'm going to hold this for Atraxa next turn. Right? Or no, I have enough. This is enough. Yeah, this is enough. PT invites, and so it was a really, really big match. I've played a few matches like this, but this one was the biggest. It was like a lot of big prize money jump too. But in the match, I was playing Ad Nauseam Tendrils, the Legacy Storm deck, against Merfolk, and I was ready to storm off. My opponent had been top decked 1 card. This was before Force of Negation was printed. My opponent had 3 mana. I could pay for days, I could beat days, and then I could, they couldn't have Force of Will because they didn't have enough mana. And so, I was feeling really, really comfortable, but my opponent's 1 draw was their 1 of Vendilion Click. And, they were able to use that to stop me from being able to storm off, and that was the only card in the entire deck that wins them that game. Which was and we lost. And we lost, and it was the whole thing. But this is also something I like. It's always important when I'm telling the story to remember the other part is that match loss was in a lot of ways directly correlated with me starting to stream Magic. If I could just grind and get those pro points, then that was another Pro Tour invite, and then 1 more good Pro Tour finish would put me in gold, and then all of a sudden I was in a position where it was really realistic for me to make a Pro Tour grind a really serious commitment. And I started making preparations for that, but then a couple weeks after that Pro Tour, they announced they were doing away with the pro point system. They announced that they were doing away with RPTQs and the whole system, and they're switching over to the MPL. And and I was just so devastated because this was the first time in my Magic career that I was in a really good position to try to make it make gold, make a real good run at the Pro Tour in a real way, and it was ending. And so if I had won that, if my opponent hadn't top decked the Vendilion Click and I won that match, then I would have still been silver for that time, and I would have been more seriously grinding the Pro Tour. But instead, I found myself in a position where it wasn't very realistic or a particularly good plan to try to grind the Pro Tour in that way anymore. But I still loved Magic, and it's just like something I was still am totally obsessed with. And so I had like the very conscious and intentional decision to either start streaming and like share the ideas I have, or quit Magic. And I started streaming, and we're here now. But like, if my opponent had, you know, not top decked the Vendilion Clique, I would have more seriously pursued the Pro Tour career for a few months, and who knows how it would have ended. Like, I may have just been like so, you know, devastated from like losing that after like, you know, starting, that I would quit completely. A lot of things could have happened. Yeah, but I don't know. Like, it's really funny to think about this, and this is not always how life works. But that Vendilion Clique, it did end up being like a big net positive for me. I am like way happier streaming and more fulfilled, and you know, life is really fucking good. But at the time, it was just the worst thing ever. Yeah, this is weirdly enough the brightest timeline. Like, if you even think about it, it's like, maybe I'm still here. Maybe I'm still here. I'm still standing. If that's not what happens, but it is funny to think that like I'm only streaming in the timelines where my opponent top decked the Clique. I think we just put Omnath into play here. UMR 4 months. Thank you. Glad you're liking the stream. Yeah, I love the red black bombardment deck too. I've been really meaning to play it some more. After the pandemic, everyone started streaming anyways. Yeah, maybe. I mean, I started streaming like, although also like I started streaming like maybe 6 to 8 months before the pandemic. I remember going to like Phoenix for the GP, or the GP, the GP / Players Tour, and there were like several people there that knew me from the stream, and it was like the first time ever people say, "Hey, I watched the stream." It was awesome. But like the fact that I was already streaming at that point is a big part of the reason why like my streaming career was able to take off, because I had already started by the time COVID started. That was like, you know, maybe, you know, I think like already having an audience, already having like a start is like way easier than just starting when the pandemic started, which is, you know, what a lot of people did. All right, well, I mean, this game is pretty over. Definitely helped me. Yeah, for sure. It did definitely help me. I'm not denying that. So if they put a counter on the Ledger Shredder, I just exile here, exile here. Oh, no, sorry. I do that anyways. They both die. When it's simply binding 2-piece, because this gets rid of 3. And then also lets me evoke and draw 4. We got the Knight, the Avalanche Riders, the Atraxa, and like 2 evolutions. 4 Meddling 4. A lot of different decks. You get to bring these in against Titan and Living End and Rhinos and a couple other linear spell-based combo decks. Could have a different card there instead, like maybe something that's a bit better against creativity. I'm kind of thinking that like Elesh, Norn, Solitude, Binding may be good enough against creativity that I don't need to respect the matchup too much, but I could be wrong. What's the best insert source you could copy with Mercurial Spelldancer? Oh, I got it. Hold on. It's got to be this one. What's it called? Yeah, Explosive Singularity. It's gotta be Explosive Singularity. You copy, that's 20 damage. That's 20 damage. People they'd start at 20 life. How much PT did I watch? Favorite deck from the event? I watched like I watched basically the entire coverage on like Friday and Sunday, and then on Saturday I didn't watch very much. But my favorite deck was probably the creativity deck. I played a lot of creativity back when I was playing more Pioneer, and I thought that like the tech that Reed and Gab and the CFB team had was really good. I liked the Auras deck. I thought was really cool. Like, Benton was really fun to watch. I almost got so I thought that for some reason this video. Hold on. For some reason, I thought that this video, the guy is saying Benton and not Fenton. Hold on. This is very important. But ever since the Pro Tour, I've had this video in my head after watching Benton. This is all the pro players. This is the green white auras deck.
Benton!
ever since Benton in the Pro Tour, I've had this this video stuck in my head. Similarities between Reed's Boggles World Championship loss and this PT. Yeah, it was kind of funny to see that. Apparently, some people said that like Benton like plays creativity and like locally too, which is kind of funny. So like Reed playing creativity and Benton playing the Boggles deck, which Reed very famously did well with at the Worlds. It's just a lot of like really. What's the word I'm looking for? Like this there's something like really magical about this PT without being too corny. It's like sometimes PTs are like less interesting, and like a deck just ends up sweeping and ends up just performing really well, much better than everybody else. And sometimes the games aren't that good, but the cover, despite me like not even liking Pioneer that much, like the everything was great. Everything was really good this tournament, and it was great to watch. And I think also, like, in a big way, Reed being the winner was like a healing moment for Magic. without being too corny, like Reed Duke's someone like, not that anybody deserves a PT win, but if anybody did deserve a PT win, like it would be Reed. And it's like it really in a big way feels like just a healing moment for competitive Magic. I know that's really corny, but that is how it feels to me. Good Solitude here. I would let them connive, though. I'm a bit worried about Spell Pierce. I don't know if that's just like being scared of monsters in the closet, but the Wall of Omens in play also lets me Evolution for an Omnath plus fetch land next turn, so that seems kind of worth it. And I guess now I can also Binding on their turn. Their turn, of course, for Connive. They have the Juggernaut Transfer Treasure. I think I thought it was very cool, innovative. I want to see it in action though. I don't have a big opinion formed on it yet. Yeah, Reed's Spec Talk was really good. Yeah, they can't drown this, but they can Spell Pierce if they have Spell Pierce. Yeah, 1 was a really good set. 1 has been like, yeah, one of the best of all time for like modern brews. The worst one ever was, so people also, you know, they ask me a lot about the trophy races and stuff, you know, these days, which is, you know, fine. But like a big part of the reason like I did the Crimson Vow trophy race was because Crimson Vow was the least impactful set to modern of all since I've started streaming, and it's like Ixalan levels of mid. And So if you guys like the trophy race, you should root for there to be another unimpactful set. The Shocks I can pay for Spell Pierce. Thought you said because it was a very long season, which helps breaking the record. Because you said it was a long season, which helps breaking the record. This is my response to that.
You agreed to stay away!
You said it was the longest trophy race, longest season. You wanted to break the record.
I lied, as I have from the very beginning.
No, that was part of it, I guess. That was part of it, for sure. There's not much reason to pick up a land. I'm just going to discard it immediately. We're like a little bit ahead here, I think. Yeah, but for me, brewing is like way more fulfilling and enjoyable and like better for the community overall. But if there's ever another Ixalan set, we can do a trophy race. Was it worse than New Capenna? Ledger Shredder Triomes, nothing else. Ledger Shredder Triomes is a lot for a standard set. Ledger Shredder also like is one of the most impactful cards to Modern in a standard set since Modern Horizons 2 full stop. Maybe even like Fable is probably a little bit more impactful, but that's a lot. Like dude, I was out here playing Edgar Charmed Groom. I was playing Edgar Charmed Groom and Wandering Mind because those were the only cards that were even close. And I trophied with both of those cards. I trophied with both of those cards, but dang, there just was not a lot to choose from.